This Council resumes the second reading debate on the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2025. Mr. Martin Liao. President, before the end of the current term, we will conduct a review in order to improve the system. A new code of practice has been prepared in order to improve the review of the system on performance of duties by LegCo members. It aims to improve the interest declaration system among members. There is a penalty mechanism for those breaching national security regulations. There will be severe penalties, including the suspension of duties as well as the fact that remuneration will not be paid to members during the period of suspension. In the 8th term of the Council, what is proposed will take effect. If members engage in grossly disorderly conduct when President names the member and 2/3 of the member of the Council agree, then the member concerned will neither be entitled to receive the remuneration nor the allowance to which the member is entitled in respect of the period of suspension. In the context of grossly disorderly conduct when the member is suspended from duties, remuneration nor allowance will be paid to the member in question. G19 and I support the amendments. The remuneration and allowance of members are paid by the public. For those whose duties are suspended on the grounds of grossly disorderly conduct, it would be unfair to still pay the member, and there are indeed examples in South Korea. We have the principle of patriots administering Hong Kong. It doesn't mean that we can let down our guard. We need to exercise caution and self-restraint in serving the public. The amendments improve the accountability of the Council. It also encourages members to exercise better self-regulation so that the next term of the Council will better serve the public. G19 and I support the amendment. I so submit. Thank you, President. Dr. Starry Lee. Thank you, President. I speak in support of the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2025. Hong Kong is moving from stability to prosperity. The third plenum emphasizes conducting in-depth reforms. The Council is legislature of the Hong Kong government. We need to keep enhancing our system in order to seek improvements. We need to enhance accountability as well as our own levels. That is exactly how we can improve ourselves and better serve the public. We have seen encouraging results. After improving the governance system, this is the first term of the government after the relevant enhancement. We exercise our duties, we discharge our duties in accordance with the basic law. We have self-regulation, and the members put forward constructive and meaningful proposals. A total of 90 bills were proposed. An increase of 50%. All these show the determination and efforts of legislators. This is the enhancement made to the system on performance of duties by LegCo members. This is a necessary system and enhancement. President Mr. Martin Liao and I myself consulted all members of the Council. I need to thank in particular the Secretariat for the professional support and efforts. I also need to thank CROP as well as the Committee on Members' Interests for their efforts. We have conducted in-depth analyses, and we also look into the system to make sure the system is operable and strict. Afterwards, these were submitted to the CROP and Committee on Members' Interests. This involves the review of the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2025. Overall, the enhancements cover three main fronts. 1. The code for members of the Legislative Council is made. Members need to attend council meetings, liaise with the public, and submit a report on a regular basis. There is also a penalty mechanism. The interest declaration mechanism is enhanced to cover more interest in order to be in line with public expectations. The Committee on Members' Interests is renamed as the Legislative Council Supervisory Committee. The work is more comprehensive to ensure the implementation of the enhanced mechanism. There is a mechanism for sanctioning LegCo members backed by law. In a case of grossly disorderly conduct in accordance with Section 20A, the remuneration and allowance may be deducted. This definition is too narrow to cover the scope of misconduct. Therefore, the bill proposes to repeal Section 28(1). Grossly disorderly conduct members engaging in grossly disorderly conduct will be sanctioned. Remuneration or allowance will not be paid to the member concerned in respect of the period of suspension. The bill also makes textual amendments to Section 20A. I thank the Chief Secretary for Administration for their collaboration, as this bill will need the support of the administration. This shows the good interaction between the executive and the legislature. President said there is always room for improvement. We need to set a good example. We need to exercise self-regulation and self-improvement. I believe this enhancement will allow us to better serve the public. This will also enhance the overall accountability of the Council. This shows accountability, commitment, making good suggestions to the administration. This shows our mission to serve the public. This is also conducive to helping society to develop in a positive manner. There is no end to improving the Council system. We need to pass on to the next term of the Council. This bill ensures the sustainable improvement of the Council. This contributes to the transition from stability to prosperity of Hong Kong. I speak in support of the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Amendments Bill 2025. I urge all members to play their part so that we will finish our task. Thank you.
Dr. LegCo. President, I speak in support of the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2025. This bill helps improve the legislature system, and it helps respond to the aspiration of the public. First, we have to understand that this bill does not come of nowhere. it has been working well. Article 75 of the Basic Law stipulates that the Legislative Council shall come up with its own rules of procedures. At the end of each term of the Legislative Council, we review the system so to ensure that we can effectively play our role. After a series of reviews, we have already reached an important consensus on the proposal. We need to have a clear code to ensure self-regulation and self-improvement, as well as to ensure transparency of LegCo's operation. The core of this system is to come up with a code for LegCo members to set out the requirements on the performance of LegCo members. However, without a penalty system in place, this code will become a toothless tiger. Therefore, we agree that there should be an effective penalty system to deal with any misconduct of LegCo members. In order to implement this system, we must amend Cap 382 of our law. We responded to the proposals of the Chief Secretary and reviewed the law. And this is to improve the system and ensure that we have a solid legal basis to implement the system. The purpose of the bill is clear. It is to amend the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Ordinance, Section 20A. Section 20A stipulates that only a LegCo member suspended under rules of procedures from the service of LegCo for engaging in grossly disorderly conduct, that LegCo has the right to deduct the remuneration of the LegCo member. The amendment is to delete Section 20A bracket 1 on the phrase of engaging in grossly disorderly conduct, to provide LegCo with the flexibility to cater for the deprivation of remuneration from a member suspended from the service. We're also amending other parts of the ordinance in case a LegCo member conducts misconduct. The LegCo member concerned will not have the right to receive remuneration and allowance. We have to ensure a binding effect of the system. I think there are two advantages to this system. First, the right to suspend service of a LegCo member is linked to the right to deprive the LegCo member of the remuneration and allowance. Also, it ensures flexibility for LegCo to deal with the relevant cases. And the existing Section 20A will come into play. I am a representative of the engineering sector, and I respect professionalism as well as rules. LegCo is the legislature in Hong Kong, and the performance of LegCo members should be subject to monitoring to ensure effectiveness and efficiency of this council. We have to ensure that LegCo members act in accordance with the law. This is to protect the image of this council. According to the ordinance, if a LegCo member commits grossly disorderly conduct, the LegCo member should be deprived of the right to receive remuneration and allowance. This is an effective penalty for LegCo members committing misconduct, and this is also responsible to the taxpayers. Also, the bill provides flexibility for LegCo to impose penalty on LegCo members. And this is to ensure a culture of self-regulation and self-improvement. This responds to the aspiration of the community. The relevant system is part of an internal arrangement of LegCo, so we do not have to consult the public on this. There has been enough discussion and support on the revised system. And there's clear consensus among members on this new system. And this shows that members are committed to self-regulation and self-improvement. And this new system will be implemented starting from the 8th LegCo term. And with this improved system, I believe that together with a clear penalty system, we can build a culture with a higher standard, and we will be able to get the respect from the public because of this. I so submit. My party, BPA, and I support the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2025. Mr. Kenneth Lau. President, in order to improve LegCo, I speak in support of the LegCo Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2025. I also support the relevant amendments to the Rules of Procedure, the House rules, to enhance self-regulation and self-improvement, as well as high efficiency of LegCo's operation. This current term government, with an improved electoral system, is back on the right track. We no longer see filibustering. Instead, we are returning to constructive discussions. This current term government has already passed over 100 bills on people's livelihoods. This shows that this LegCo is very effective. And with patriots administering Hong Kong, we are striving excellence. I support that we should come up with a clear system and a code for LegCo members. This is to improve the system on performance of duties by LegCo members. And for the new term LegCo members, we can set a standard for them. This is to enhance self-regulation and help improve the performance of duties by LegCo members. This is also to respond to the aspiration of the community. LegCo members will have to abide by 9 sets of rules. They ask that LegCo members must help safeguard national security as well as protect the image of LegCo members. It also have to keep secrets to perform their duties. LegCo members have to think in the interest of our country. They should not only be commentators. Instead, they should speak on behalf of the public and put forward effective proposals to the government. The code also stipulates that LegCo members should focus their energy on LegCo affairs. They should proactively take part in LegCo affairs and vote. If they're absent for no reasons, they may be subject to penalty. Within 2 months before the end of each LegCo term, they should submit work report and which shows their attendance. These reports are subject to public's inspection. For LegCo members that receive $1,000 of gifts, they should declare them. And these rules are very objective, and they help the public understand how LegCo members are performing their duties. They form an effective monitoring mechanism, and they help enhance transparency as well as their credibility. This helps protect our professional image of the Legislative Council. The code also based on the performance of LegCo members impose penalty. LegCo members who commit misconduct may receive warning letters. They may be sanctioned and they may be suspended from their service. During the suspension of service, they cannot receive remuneration and allowance. I support this amendment. In the past, in this council, we lacked an effective monitoring mechanism. Therefore, members of the opposition camp in the past repeatedly disrupted the order of this council. They only got verbal warnings or warning letters. The penalty was not heavy enough. This greatly damaged people's confidence in this council. With a clear system, we can ensure constructive discussion and deliberations in this council. This can also urge LegCo members to perform their duties effectively. The system will also ensure penalties for those who commit misconduct. Those who commit misconduct will not be able to receive their remuneration. This is to ensure fairness. And with an effective monitoring mechanism, we have to, starting from the 8th LegCo term, implement this amended Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Ordinance. And the system will ensure in-depth investigation on any complaints. And according to the amendment, only LegCo members committing grossly disorderly conduct will be asked to have their remuneration and allowance deprived of. This amendment bill is going to expand the scope of the penalty system so that the deprivation of remuneration and allowance will apply to LegCo members that violate the code. I think the above arrangement can help enhance the monitoring mechanism to ensure any misconduct can be dealt with through fair investigation and sanctions. This also helps improve the monitoring system and enhance the authority of the system. We are moving from stability to prosperity. We need an efficient and effective LegCo, and this has to do with the livelihood of people as well as the benefits of the entire community. The revised code can provide for clear standards for LegCo members in terms of their conduct. The relevant amendments will take effect starting from the 8th term LegCo. We LegCo members have to abide by very high standards as we perform our duties. We have to constructively and sensibly discuss policy matters so that we can act for the well-being of members of the public and that we can start a new chapter. I speak on behalf of III.Govt and I support the bill. Thank you.
Does any other member wish to speak? If not, I now call upon the Chief Secretary for Administration to reply, then the debate will come to a close. Chief Secretary. President, I thank the 4 members who have spoken. I thank them for their support of the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2025 and for their valuable comments. To tie in with the proposals to enhance the system of performance of duties by members and the introduction of the Code of Members of the Legislative Council, the government will, upon the suggestion of the LegCo, introduce a bill to implement these proposals. Members of the 7th term of the LegCo, having drawn on the experience to review their experience, they have completed a series of reviews. Proposals to enhance the system of performance of duties introduced a code for members were put forward to improve operation. The code has set out a clear standard of the conduct and performance of members. This shows that the members have reached a consensus. The government is happy to see that. The House Committee has previously agreed with the amendment of the various provisions of the House rules as well as the Rules of Procedure, ROP, for the implementation of the code. Later today, there will be a discussion on the 2 resolutions proposed by Mr. Paul Tse. All these will officially complete the amendment of relevant legislation and the rules of procedures for the introduction of the code and the system. The government supported the Legislative Council's suggestion. Through the introduction of the bill, there will be an implementation of the sanction mechanism in order to expand the scope of application of the arrangement for depriving a member suspended from service of remuneration and allegations from members who engage in grossly disorderly misconduct to all members suspended under the ROP for breaching the code. At the same time, there will be flexibility provided to the LegCo to cater for the deprivation of remuneration and allowances from a member suspended for other reasons as approved by LegCo pursuant to the ROP in future. Members have pointed out that there is high expectations from the community of the conduct of legislators. This year is the first Legislative Council term after the implementation of Patriots Administering Hong Kong and the improvement in electoral systems. The Council has swept away chaos when everything was politicized, procedures and powers were abused, and to disrupt the governance. There is a new chapter. Members cast away sensationalism and confrontational politics. They work with the government under the executive-led approach as part of the governing team to administer Hong Kong. Members are rational, pragmatic. They aim to work efficiently to carry out their work, to discuss policies and scrutinize bills, as well as approving funding applications. They also act as a bridge between the people and the government. At the same time, they reflect the views of sectors as well as the public to the government. All these improve the policy formulation of the government. Through the positive interaction between the legislature and the executive, in this term of the LegCo, a number of policies as well as legislations have been approved, improving people's livelihood and removing barriers. This has also greatly enhanced the efficiency of governance of the government, which showed the power and value of patriots administering Hong Kong. This exercise to implement the new code as well as to amend the ordinance is another example showing LegCo's enhancement of self-supervision with a higher standard. The code has set clear guidelines and standards for members' behavior and conduct. There are also clear sanctions set out for misconduct, which is conducive to efficient performance of their duties. This also improves the efficiency and transparency of the LegCo. I'm standing here today. I recall the chaos I saw right here not long ago. The LegCo was hijacked by a handful of people. It was almost ground to a halt. Today, under the principle of patriots administering Hong Kong, the LegCo and the executive work with each other for our people and our economy. We work based on the principle, on the spirit of there can always be ways to do it better. Members continue to improve themselves. I express my greatest gratitude to the LegCo as well as members. The government fully supports their proposal to improve the system of performance of duty. The passage of the bill is very important. If the bill is passed, the amendments will come into operation on the day on which the 8th term of office of LegCo begins. I ask members to support the proposal. I so submit. I now put the question to you that the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2025 be read the second time. Will those in favour please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of members present. I declare the motion passed. Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2025. This council now becomes committee.